The Quote Goats Podcast. With your hosts, Tommy Guns. The Quote Goats
Podcast. I go by the name of Tommy Guns, and we are here today on the live session of the Quote Goats Podcast. I want to call these live sessions that I want to start doing regularly, like do your research, you know what I'm saying? And in this particular live, I want to dive into a situation that's kind of going on in hip hop right now with Rick Ross. Much respect to Rick Ross and his career and everything he's done thus far, and Meek Mills as well. You know what I'm saying? He do his thing. I'm not the biggest fan of Meek Mill, honestly, but much respect to the guy. You know what I'm saying? I just don't like listening to his music in particular. Like, his music is like club music. Like, it's just a lot of screaming and like repetitious. Like, he talks about the same thing. He screams about the same thing on every song. And it's like you heard one of them, you heard all of them. But I digress. They are in a kind of war of words with the rapper D1. D1 is a very positive Christian rapper, and I think he doesn't curse in his music. All his messages are very positive and uplifting. And he made some very valid points recently on an interview he did on Sway in the Morning. And called out hip hop and named names, specifically Rick Ross, Meek Mill, and Jim Jones. I'm not sure if he named anybody else, but he pretty much called out Rick Ross and Meek Mill in particular because they just dropped the album, and it's talking about the same old thing, I got shooters, I'll send somebody to kill you, I got all the money in the world, I'm partying, drinking, we popping champagne and pills. I don't know if they talking about pills on there, but it's a lot of degeneracy, It's a lot of activity that contradicts who we thought Meek Mill was changing into, He hanging out with all the billionaires, he with Jay-Z and trying to get prisons reformed. And, I've seen him in interviews admitting that he makes the most money when he talks about some of the most evil things that you can do as a human being. But he's not, with the recent release of the joint album with him and Rick Ross, is not really, like, his persona in music is not really lining up with that new message of his, you know what I'm saying? Kind of makes me think he was just doing that to stay out of prison, Kind of makes me think he doesn't really care, And Rick Ross, how old is Rick Ross? Let's see how old Rick Ross is. Yeah, that's my boy D1 right there. Let's see. Rick Ross is 47 years old. Now, he's very accomplished at that age, He got like money on money. He damn near a billionaire if he not a billionaire. He definitely spends money. Like, he got hundreds of millions coming in very frequently. He got a jet. He got one of the biggest mansions ever. He got all the cars in the world. Every time I go to his Instagram, he flexing some new, very extravagant bullshit on his Instagram. And salute to him for that. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't even have to rap, because obviously he got a lot of revenue coming in, and I'm sure for years he's made way more money off other ventures. What's Rick Ross? Rich Forever, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure he's made way more money off other ventures and doesn't really have to do rap like that. You know what I'm saying? There's the Jet, Rose, you know what I'm saying? Big boss shit. And salute to him, man. He came from his correctional officer days, created a whole persona in the biggest dope dealer in the world. And then, you know, milked that until he got the capital to, you know, open some wing stops and do some good business. And when he was in school, he couldn't even do math. My guy couldn't even comprehend a math equation. And now he one of the biggest, or at least the richest rappers in the game. But it's a bit. Well, let's play the first clip of my boy D1 talking about you know, his problem with Rose. So this is D1, positive Christian rapper, calling out the industry. Let's see what he had to say.
I love you too much to not be honest with you. Rick Ross, you could do better, brother. Meek Mill, you could do better, brother. I love you too much not to be honest with you. Are you the face of prison reform? Cause are you the face of prison reform? Or are you sitting here on your new song with Ross talking about getting somebody murked and shot at the red light? Which one is it, bro? Which one is it, bro? Cause I did a shoe giveaway in my city and gave out 1,300 pairs of your shoes because they said reform underneath them. And I love that you partnered with a major shoe company and you out here pushing prison reform. But now I got to sit here like, man, this man glorifying getting people killed as of a week ago. Like, what are you doing, bro? Lil Snoop really got killed. That broke your heart. You wear him around your neck. Why are you glorifying the same thing? The rap game, hip-hop industry is great at cooking up some delicious poison. I don't call you out because I got a problem with you, man. Like, I wish we could go get lunch right now, me and any of them. I love you too much. Jones, you could do better, brother. I love you too much. I love you too much to not be honest with you. Rick Ross, you could do better, brother. Meek Mill, you could do better, brother. I love you too much not to be honest with you.
So, yeah, that's what he said. And I agree with him. You know what I'm saying? Rap music celebrates a lot of degeneracy. It encourages a lot of, for lack of better terms, a lot of like evil behavior. Like what? Okay, let's be honest. What does rap celebrate? All right, rap celebrates murder, gang banging, gang violence, you know, misogyny, you know, bitch this, bitch that, I fuck your bitch, you know, the love of money and status, you know, vanity, sex. And, you know, I don't know whose fault it's really on. Is it like the consumer? Is it the artist? Is it the record label? You know, because I don't know. Maybe it's all three of them, you know, because the artist writing the music, especially when you in a position. Because I think his whole thing is like, they not new rappers. You know, they not the youngins coming up who don't know no better and just trying to like make it in the door, you know, and doing what they not even like, the youngins ain't even thinking that far ahead, because, you know, rap is a young man's game. You know, a lot of people blow up in rap at like, you know, 17, 18 or 20 something, and, you know, or even younger than that. And at that point, you just emulating, because rap is very influential. Hip hop is very influential. At that point, you just emulating what you've always seen in rap. You know, even if you're not a gangster, if you're not in the streets like that, if you ain't outside like that, as they say, you act like it. You write songs and, you know, perpetuate the same thing that you've seen in it, you know, and that's the cycle. And people who don't rap, they look at it, and some of them, a lot of people take it as gospel, and they live their lives according to the music. You know, the music becomes a soundtrack. This is my opinion, but the music becomes a soundtrack to the way they live their lives and like their principles and their morals and stuff like that, or lack thereof. And you can kind of give a young rapper or a young impressionable person who just wants to be like his favorite rapper, you give them a little leeway, a little grace, because, you know, they're young and they don't know no better. But on the other hand, people like Rick Ross and Jim Jones and Meek Mill, they should know better, because they've been in the game for a much longer time. Rick Ross been in the game, I don't know when Rick Ross started rapping, but he been in the game for like, I want to say 20 years or something. Let's see, how long Rick Ross been in the rap game? Rick Ross first single. Think I would say Hustling. Rick Ross been in the game since 2009, respectfully. He's almost 50 years old. He don't have to perpetuate that in music no more. He don't even have to make music anymore, because he's so well off. You know what I'm saying? But he puts out a new album with his artist who's trying to like be a beacon for prison reform, because he's been to prison wrongfully before. They get on the album and they talk the same gangster, shoot 'em up, bang bang, you know, degenerate shit. And at the same time, what Buddy called him out for is, you know, even if you gonna do that, you know, giving out turkeys, like you're not doing nothing to counteract your effect on your community. Or at least he was like, you ain't doing enough. And Rick Ross, I think Rick Ross had something to say about that.
You could do better. I gotta see you do better. Wait.
Rick Ross funny though. That's one thing about him too.
Meek Mill, you could do better. Jim Jones, you could do better. Rick Ross, you could do better. I gotta see you do better. Wait. Little man, whoever you is, until you feed the kids where you from for
Feed
20 years straight. Don't question Rose. Wait. Until you buy 10,000 bikes, 10,000 trikes. Give all the young girls who pregnant Pampers for Christmas for 20 years straight. Don't question boss. You heard me, little man? Get that basket off your head so you could think clear, little man.
Not
you
little
going
man,
viral for speaking on niggas' names, not because of your talent, not because of your gift. Go viral, player, off of your wisdom that you sharing. You speaking on that, yeah, Meek Mill, you just, boy, you know how many niggas died this summer? They released self-destruction. It's niggas dying right now. It's gonna be niggas don't make it to see in the morning. Get that basket off your head, boy, and come together with real niggas around the world. So when your grandma need a kidney, nigga, since you wanna go viral, I'm gonna show you how to go viral, little man, but go viral.
Yeah, so that's what Rose had to say about it. And it was a little bit of a back and forth. Let me see if I can find this other video. Cause he said he came back with receipts. Rick Ross, this is for you.
Rick Ross! First of all, I love you, brother. And I want you to know that because you sounded a little upset in your video reply to me. But I love you too much to not be honest with you. And right now, you're deflecting. I was talking about your lyrical content and you talking about turkeys. I'm talking about you as a hip-hop OG still glorifying murder and drug dealing in your music. And you talking about turkeys? Bro, more people are streaming your music than eating your turkeys. You can believe that, brother. Oh, then you can make fun of my accent and my hair, brother. That's lightweight, you heard?
I'm gonna just stop right there because, like, it's not a small feat that Rick Ross, and he should be applauded for, like, giving out 20,000 turkeys or 10,000 bikes or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But his point here is that's great. But, you know, like he said, more people are listening to and being influenced by the negativity in your music than are eating your turkeys or riding them bikes. You know what I'm saying? People got bikes, man, hand-me-downs and all that shit. But it's still a great deed. But I don't think you can do enough philanthropy to counteract selling murder music and drug dealer music to your community. You know what I'm saying? But let's keep going.
What am I doing to help my community? Well, my whole adult life, I've been a middle school teacher. Now I'm a full-time hip-hop artist. Just dropped my 10th album. It's called Uno. You should check it out, actually. I've helped to give out hundreds of thousands of dollars in college scholarships for students around this country. Done financial literacy tours year after year, brother. Shoe drives, toy drives, voter registration rallies, prison ministry. I'm currently a professor at Tufts University teaching the intersection of hip-hop and social change, and I'm a fellow at Harvard University. Ultimately, I'm just trying my best to do God's work in this industry, bro. Then you say, won't I go viral with my own content? Brother, you a little late to the party. I've been successful for a while, man, and not having to glorify the things that's harmful to our community. Could you do that? I'm curious. Bro, I work with some of the same artists as you. The Game, Lupe, Big Crit, Juvenile, Manny Fresh, Currency, Kevin Gates, Sway, Charlamagne. These people know me, man. So as black men, let's do our best to do God's work and not glorify what's holding us down, man.
He said a mouthful right there. I like this guy. This whole situation, I didn't even know he existed until this whole situation. But I think he makes very valid points. As I'm a musician, I'm a rapper. I don't do it as much as I used to. It used to be the only thing that I did for years. And, you know, I live in Germany, so I traveled all through Europe, you know, doing my shows, making my music, making my money with the music. You know, when I was younger, I'm 37 years old right now. And honestly, at the time, it was just fun, man, being in those atmospheres and, you know, singing the music that's gonna get the ladies going and, you know, shaking their ass, and people, you know, and drinking alcohol and getting into, you know, like very secular situations and stuff, you know. And not that I was ever a gangster rapper, because I do not, you know, I've never identified as like a gangster dude or something like that. But I still, you know, over time started to realize the impact of the words I was speaking. And, you know, as a grown man, as I matured, you know, my thinking changed about a lot of things. And like I said, I can realize like the impact of what I'm saying and what I'm manifesting with my tongue. And like, it was kind of an inner battle for me. I was like, do I want to keep rapping, but rap about, you know, the positive change I want to see in hip hop, or try to pivot when all the time I've been making this club music? Are they gonna accept me making that change? You know, how do I make that change? Is it gonna be a waste of my time? Are people gonna look at me like a hypocrite? And I realized that dynamic of it. If you've been rapping about street shit and like really evil stuff for this whole time, like, and you got fans, dedicated fans who used to hearing that from you, and they love it and they spend money on it, you know, when you mature and grow up and realize, you know, that type of stuff shouldn't be celebrated, like, what do you do? How do you pivot away from that? You know what I'm saying? And you know, my thinking was, you know, I should just pivot and do something else, you know, use my voice to you know, encourage people to do the right thing and you know, not be a piece of shit, you know. and not be like an arbiter of the destruction of my community, by, just feeding kids and, people who listen to my music and who are impressionable to do, some of the, wild stuff I could have been saying in my music, So I really, appreciate this guy's message, and he makes his own music too. He makes, like I said, he makes music. He doesn't cuss. And I've listened to some of his songs, and most of the time, like, it's just with rap, people don't want to necessarily be preached to through rap in a positive way. It's very hard to make a positive rap song and it be like deemed as cool. You know what I'm saying? Because like that's the thing, like in rap, like in hip-hop, like positivity doesn't get as much attention as the murder, gang, bravado talk. You know what I'm saying? You can't, because rap hip-hop is all about who the biggest, who the baddest, who the best. It's not about positivity. It's not about like uplifting people. It's about saying, I'm the rapper and I'm better than you. I have more money than you. I can take your wife or your girlfriend and make her, bust it open and do this and do that. You know what I'm saying? And if you got a problem with it, I'll kill you, or I'll get somebody else to kill you. And kill, and let Lil Wayne tell it, he'll kill your mama too. And people will listen to that and be like, oh shit, what he just said, and I don't know about y'all, but to me that's very like, that's low vibrational. And like, if you really listen to what these guys saying, they like preaching genocide on their community. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it perpetuates those sentiments and those behaviors, and like, in my opinion, it's a detriment to not just the black community, but to society as a whole. We in these clubs, jumping around, bumping around, listening to like serial killer music and stuff. And with that being said, I give him credit because he got some dope tracks, and he got some traction with his music, and he been doing it for years, and he's been giving back. Y'all heard what he said. This man teach, I guess he said hip hop theory at Harvard or something like that. He puts his money where his mouth is. And he showed me from looking at his stuff, and I'm sure he showed a whole bunch of other people, that you can be successful and be a positive rapper and, give a positive message and not delve into all the negativity that, not put on that rapper costume that most people think they have to be a part of the industry. And I think that's very, very cool. But you can't put all the onus on the rapper either, because it's like people are so hypnotized and so used to rap and hip hop being about that they hate him for his message, and they like shut the fuck up, which is pretty wild, man. I saw a pretty wild video of this one guy. Let's see what my boy here got to say about it. True fan of hip hop right here. True fan.
Tell this backpack rapper to sit down. My man, nobody gives a fuck of what you saying, bro. We don't care about none of that. We love weed. We love the hoes. We love the ghetto. We love what's going on. It's part of our story, motherfucker. Thank you, tanto cabrón. Shut your fuck out. Yo, when I look at you, I look at the same way I see Biden on the fucking screen. Shut up. Don't you get it? Nobody wants to hear your fucking rambling mouth.
Damn.
Fuck down with your fucking head wrap. Go chill with Shaka bars or something. Fuck out of here. Nigga, get it hyped ya. Fuck out of here. We like all that hood shit, man. Sit your ass down, bro. Oh my God. Tell this backpack rapper to sit down. My man, nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, so as you can see, the fans so used to it and, you know, love it so much that, you know, they want Buddy to shut up. How dare he come in and try to change minds and hearts. And the situation that people are in, you know, I think, you know, because of rap and hip hop, he like, shut the fuck up, nigga. Shut the fuck up and let me listen to my serial killer music, you know? And Jim Jones, he also replied. What did Jimmy here have to say? Let's see if I can find that one. Yeah, Jim Jones responds.
I really do a lot for the people.
Mm-hmm. He talked about lyrics.
I don't care about none of that.
Okay.
In a real life, I do a lot for the people. Miss me with the rhetoric about what I do in my music. I get money off my music. Don't tell me how to make my dollars. You gotta watch whose names you mentioning out here.
Mm-hmm.
You heard?
Yeah.
Because my little cousin might not like how you mention my name. You heard?
Come on, Rick Ross.
And then he might want to slap a dread out
Jim
your head
Jones.
just because he don't understand that you using my name for fame and he don't understand that.
Yeah.
There's a certain way to go about certain things when you're using certain people's name. When you do certain things, it's a reaction for every action.
What's the best way?
It's out now. It ain't no best way to have a conversation. He got to see me when he see me now.
Okay.
You heard?
Wow.
If he reached out,
He had the chance. He could have reached out. That avenue of talking to me is out.
That's
You
out.
heard? I had the same conversation with Farrakhan.
How did that go?
He summoned me
Uh-huh.
for saying his name.
Come on, but he's not fair.
Okay.
Though.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
If you know now what you're talking about, young man, let me school you to what you're doing. Well, yeah, it is music. So in a bit of music, you do get
Yeah.
You do get what you get, you heard? But we still in the entertainment business. But miss me with the bullshit, you heard? When you see me, keep your hand down, you heard? Where you from, New Orleans?
New Orleans.
Don't play with me like that. People from New Orleans already called me, you heard?
Wow.
You preacher, get out of here.
Preacher, get
What
out
was
of here.
that, King?
He told?
Yeah, he told.
So we ain't gonna get into
I got
that.
the message.
I just
No,
want to heat
no,
him
no,
up. Will you
okay.
snap on him?
Yeah, of course.
Basket.
No.
All right, we heard enough of that niggatry. So yeah, like, and he came at them very respectfully. He said, "Look, brothers, I love you," or something like that. Get the fuck out of here, Siri. Yeah, he came with he didn't say nothing disrespectful. He just pointed out the fact that y'all old and y'all should know better. Y'all should know what y'all talking about and y'all music is doing to people. And y'all should mature with y'all music and stop being children and find something else to talk about. If you still talking about the same thing at 50 years old that you was talking about at 19, 20 when you didn't know any better, either you don't really care about the communities that you rap into and you only care about the monetary gain that you getting from the situation, and you just go out on a promo run and throw out some turkeys and you think, oh, I'm absolved of all the horrible things I perpetuated. It don't work like that, man. And you can't get mad at somebody for calling it out. And the only reason you are mad, Jim Jones, is because you know it's the truth. And you know you done trapped yourself in this gangster street dude, I'm outside persona that you can never escape. And you probably don't sleep. If you have any humanity in you, you shouldn't even be able to sleep at night knowing what you still preaching to the very young, impressionable people who are listening to your music. You should be well off enough now that you don't have to do that no more. You should be like the real Rick Ross. The real Rick Ross. That Ricky Rose stole his name and identity from. Yeah, he grew up. He was influenced by drug dealers and rappers in his community because they had all the money and, you know, was doing their thing and they made it all look good. And they was celebrated by the youth because they ain't know no better. but they impressionable. And the real Rick Ross was like this, and he looked up to them and wanted to be like them. Right? So what did he do? He became one of the biggest drug dealers of all time. You know? He could have been anything else. He could have put that ingenuity anywhere else. But because he was so influenced by what he saw in his neighborhood and in hip hop, that he wanted to be a drug dealer. That was his ambition, and he did it. And he served a lot of time because of it and got out on a technicality. He could have got out an old gray-haired man that don't Beijing it and just went back to selling dope. Because that's all he knew. That's all he knew. He could have just went back to doing it like, fuck it. I don't give a fuck about the community as long as I'm making money again. I know how to get to the millions. I'll have a turkey drive on Thanksgiving though. You know, to counteract, you know, the people that these drugs that I'm dealing is killing. And these families I'm messing up because of my drug dealing ways. But I gotta get this money. He could have been like that. But you know what he did? He got out and totally reformed himself. Now he's an activist. He speaks to the youth. He goes to schools. He goes to prisons to talk to people and warn them about the pitfalls of the lifestyle that he used to live. He got all kind of projects he doing. He writing books, trying to tell people, do not do what I did. This is what's gonna happen. This is what happened to me. He is a living testimony to what can happen if you do and perpetuate these lifestyles. He took accountability and responsibility, changed his life, changed his ways, and now he is an example to the youth and trying to save people from what he went through. But rappers like Jim Jones, they like, fuck all that, man. They like, fuck all that, man. I'm trying to get this money. That's literally all that matters. And everything else is what it is. And if you respectfully talk to me again in that way, I'm gonna get one of my little shooters to come see about you. Oh, where you live? I'm gonna get somebody to come see about you for your positive message and your constructive criticism, sir. Jim Jones probably over 50. Still acting like a little teenage gangster with no father figure in his life, threatening another grown man for trying to show him the error of his ways, man. That's pathetic. I'm sorry. I'm not as tactful as my boy D1, but it's pretty pathetic to like threaten somebody over something like that, man. It's immature. But to a certain extent, you have to be immature to be a rapper. Like, I think rappers reach a certain level of fame and a certain amount of money and they stop aging mentally. They get so famous and can get to the point where they can do whatever they want to do, whenever they want to do, buy anything in the world. Maybe not Jim Jones, but you know, say like a Drake. Drake pushing 42, I believe. But if you listen to his latest album, you would think he like a 21-year-old because all the songs sound like what a 21-year-old would be talking about. He's not as bad. He pushed a little bit of gangster stuff, but it's in like a sassy way with his fingernails painted and shit. But he sells, some degeneracy too. And he's not aging with his music like a Jay-Z or a J. Cole or Nas or even a Kanye. Even Kanye realized what his music or what hip hop and rap music does to society. And he completely flipped the script, blew up his whole life and career to become a Christian rapper and speak what he believes to be the truth to the world. You know, he realized he's a father. He got kids looking up to him. And he changed his message. When people worship him for his older songs. He grew up. But nah, Jim Jones, he don't want to grow up, man. He a Toys R Us kid. Or maybe they do know what their music does to people. Maybe they do know it. They probably do know it, but they just don't give a fuck. I think that's more likely the thing. They don't give a fuck. They too busy living their lives, playing these characters, and really having too much fun to really give a fuck about like who riding around listening to their album, you know, really with the sole intent to do exactly what they said in the lyrics and stuff. I think let's see, it was a few more excerpts from this whole thing. Let's see, Jim Jones said something. Oh, he said, this is for Meek Mills from him.
Meek Mill, thank you for your reply to my video post, brother. But most importantly, thank you for your honesty and your transparency in your reply. The fact that we could be on different sides of the fence with this or have different opinions, but still remain respectful and actually address the topic at hand and not try to deflect, that makes a huge statement to all the millions of people watching this, and it actually empowers them. Now, you said, now we do everything, LOL, implying that you could be the face of prison reform and you could still be glorifying murder inside of your music. And you said, I've been rapping this way since before I was the face of prison reform. Y'all forgot that fast? No, fam, we didn't forget that fast. But through watching your evolution, we look forward to seeing you evolve musically as well. Because your music still touches and has the ability to empower millions of people, bro. That way it's not confusing or misleading to people. I know as an artist you could be thinking, but man, what if I lose some of my fans when I'm making that change because they like me for the old stuff? Trust me, brother, anybody that you lose when becoming a better version of yourself, that wasn't of God, and you're gonna be better because of their loss. You will actually gain because of their loss. But when we have something called cognitive dissonance and willful ignorance that we're employing because we know better, but it's just harder to do better, man, that's the reason why I'm gonna keep you in my prayers, and I'm genuinely rooting for you, bro. I want you to get there, brother. Shine your musical light. I love you, man.
So respectful. I love you, man. See, he understand what I was just saying, man. Some of them so stuck in it that they just either don't realize, and I don't see how they couldn't realize it, but they either don't realize what they're doing or they don't care. And I think that really speaks to the type of person or the type of people that are exalted and praised and worshiped in hip hop for all the wrong reasons.
Top 3 coke rappers. Benny the Butcher, who you got? No, let's do top 5.
Who are your top 5 cocaine rappers of all time, right? See, that's the problem with our culture, is we want to celebrate the most immoral, illegal, sinful aspects of who our artists are. So here's the cycle, here's the solution. That makes an artist be like, if y'all constantly celebrating me for the lowest level of who I am as a person, what's my incentive to really grow? Y'all paying me handsomely for this side of who I am, right? It make the fans be like, oh, whoever Benny named in his top 5, I guess those artists deserve their flowers, and it just puts them on this pedestal for being great at rapping about selling cocaine. Then for the media, you frame a question like that because you're like, oh, this is gonna get clicks right here, so we gotta talk about this. And then you got people that's gonna say, oh, you're just a cloud chaser, and oh, you're just a chaser. Why you had to name Benny? Why you had to talk about this? That's the problem, yo, is if you are aware of this cycle, but you want to willingly participate in it, then do you. This ain't for you.
Yeah.
But if people are not aware of this cycle, and if people are like, now that I understand how that's working, I want to still interact with hip hop and be in it, but I want to do it in a smarter way. That's who this is for, man. And this for those of y'all that's in denial that say, oh, it's just entertainment. Man, this man Benny even said, he said, look, this artist on my list, this person was the soundtrack to me being in the kitchen. You heard me? Cooking up the dope, living that life. So this music clearly ain't just entertainment. Man, miss me with that.
And again, man, shouts out to him because he really be hitting the nail on the head, man. They really want to act like it's just entertainment. It's not. There's so much power in music and in the tongue. You can speak stuff into like existence, especially in song form. When you turn it into a mantra, it's so powerful. And a song is not a movie. You're not finna watch a movie 20 times in a day, but you can put a song on repeat and sing all the lyrics and not even be paying attention to it, and subconsciously you don't know what it's doing to you. You know what I'm saying? And if the song is saying like, I'm eating her ass and this, or I'm about to kill this and I got the Draco, and you know, that's murder music. And if you listening to that on the daily, riding around to it, you know, looking up to it, idolizing it because you're very impressionable, it is going to have a very strong impact on your life and the person you become as an adult. It's going to mold your morality, things you think are fun, the things you think are cool. You're going to want to emulate it if you're not strong enough up here to appreciate that it's just art and it's just entertainment, you know. And rappers just want to throw that idea out the window in the name of getting a bag, you know what I'm saying? And if y'all got anything, hop in the chat if y'all got, you know what I'm saying, any input on what I'm talking about, you know, because this is a live stream, and I'll put your comment up on the screen, or if you got any questions about what I'm talking about. But another thing they were saying about Buddy is that this is some kind of clout chase from him. He just using this talking point to go viral. You know what I'm saying? I think that's also a cop out. And I think Joe Budden done had some terrible takes lately. Terrible takes. Joe Budden.
Introduce his clout chasing vid.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Your man that called out the rappers.
I don't think that's necessarily clout chasing. I think that
let's hear the clip.
So D1 from New Orleans called out Meek Mills, called out Rick Ross, called out Jim. Mm-hmm. And he said that basically you can't say on both sides of the coin. You can't say that you are about black progress, et cetera, and then
prison reform,
et cetera, and then you call in your very next dope album, song you put out, you talking about a nigga getting murdered at the red light.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's saying that's contradictory.
Oh. And what are you saying?
I'm saying that he has a point. He's like saying basically you can't be on one side of progress and be also a detriment at the same time.
Exactly. It's the same thing with 21 Savage. He tried to come out with some positive message about guns and some shit like that, and like, I'm like, nigga, what? Oh, I need to stop saying the N-word so much. I'm like, my dude, what? There's not one 21 Savage song where he doesn't mention murdering someone. There's not one 21 Savage song where he doesn't talk about a op getting smoked. He is one of the worst perpetrators of selling this stuff to people, man. But let's digress. Let's keep going.
I love his message. I just don't like how he did it.
Why?
I just think that he can get that message out without naming a name.
I mean,
I don't-
in his
I don't think
defense,
the
I
message
think
goes
that-
out. I
Yeah,
don't
in
think
his
it goes
defense,
out.
I don't think we'd be up here talking about it if he didn't name a name.
I think that general message has been one that a million people have said, and it falls on deaf ears. But I think the message hits harder
think it's
when
stronger?
when you could directly point to somebody that is doing X, Y, and Z,
Right.
and then preaching against X, Y, and Z. The message lands harder than if you just had it as a general statement.
I
for
agree.
hip-hop.
I think it was brave of him to name names because he probably knew he was going to get threatened. Probably knew he was going to get called a clout chaser, but because he named names, it went viral and now people talking about it.
I agree.
Like, let's say you're right, and it's not taking the same. Then back to the drawing board to figure out how I can amplify my message, not clown or belittle or downgrade
He
or
ain't
just
clown
say
nobody.
disparaging things about successful business owners.
I don't like that. I don't like the way you just framed it because he didn't clown him. He
start
didn't
off
say
with love.
He
Yo, I
didn't
love
say
y'all.
disparaging
He ain't clown nobody. He was overtly respectful. He said, "Look, brothers, I love y'all."
things about them. He didn't do those things. He pushed his message.
Who's to say?
I heard it.
So that's you saying that.
Yeah, but where do you get clown from him saying, "Yo, I love you, brothers, and I love y'all enough to XYZ"? He didn't say clown. He didn't try to clown them, Joe, and he didn't say disparaging things about them in the initial point that he was trying to make. He didn't.
Maybe I need
And
to
he
look
might
up.
not have the line to talk to you directly, so I'm going to do it this way. I might not.
And it
might
falls
can't
on
speak
deaf
to you that
ears
way.
if I don't necessarily use the examples.
But
that
I put a
use.
name on.
All right, I'll roll with Parks. Two things could be true. I still think it's
That
clout
could be true.
chasing.
And it worked.
And
We're
I,
talking about
and,
it.
I, and I hate them things where, again, I come up here every other week and be like, yo, who are these people? I don't know him. I'm not trying to slight him.
Man, who are you?
I'm just saying, you get qualified first. Tell us who you are first before you decide to just go calling name after name after name. Let me learn about what you said. D1 is his name?
Yeah. I mean, I
now
don't
you
know.
know.
You got other things.
But
If
he
you a
might be
podcaster-
solidified in his.
He might have
he
qualified
might be
himself, but we just
qualified.
don't
You
know anything
know.
about it because this is the first time he's been introduced to the public by and large because of this particular message and the bullet that he named.
That's clout chasing.
Two
It's clout
things can be.
chasing.
Joe Budden's whole business model is clout chasing. He sits up twice a week and chases clout. He chases the newest story and talks about it when he has nothing to do about it. Like I'm doing. I ain't saying, I'm not calling nobody a clout chaser. But he sits up there and gives his unsolicited opinion on everything under the sun in hip hop. Hoping he says something that makes his shit go viral so he can stay relevant and stay making money. Off the clout generated by what other people are doing and saying. If this ain't the pot causing the kettle black, I don't know what is. Like, Joe, you a clout chaser. This man been preaching this message for years. You should have did a little bit more research before you sat down. That's nothing I don't like about some of these podcasts, man. Just be sitting down and looking at the topic for the first time and try to give some profound take on it and shit. Like, man, do some research, bro. Watch a few clips. Like, come on, bro. Don't just. And a lot of these platforms are disingenuous. They don't say the truth. They not arbiters of truth. They get to a point where they got relationships and they can't. Joe Budden on a lot of different topics in the industry. He too tied in now. He can't give his real opinion no more. He got to think about, but I know this guy got a relationship. I know too many rappers. I can't agree with this guy. I gotta deflect and call him a clout chaser and get away from the subject real quick because I don't want to lose this relationship over here. I don't want to lose this deal over here. You know what I'm saying? That like he refuses to talk about Diddy because Diddy signs his checks. If anybody else did what Diddy did or was accused of what Diddy did, he would have made a whole week's worth of episodes and clips about it. But because it's Diddy, you got their relationship. this is off topic, but because of Diddy and he got that relationship, he like, oh, I ain't touching that. I ain't touching that. Really? How can we take anything you say seriously if a man is accused of doing the crazy stuff he did he allegedly did to Cassie? You can't give no take on it? And the same, for what I just said, the same thing go to the Breakfast Club, man. They got that you can never expect a genuine conversation on the Breakfast Club. They have so much politics going on, so much drama going on, so many lawsuits going on. They in so many markets, they syndicated, and congratulations to them for that. But because of their success, they can no longer be truthful. They have certain agendas to push, certain things they can't talk about, certain things they can't talk to, certain things they can't say, certain things they can't mention, or they lose the position that they in. They can't afford losing position and cancellation. So they got to play the game. So you cannot take what they say at face value. But I ain't got there yet, so I'm gonna give it to y'all raw. You know what I'm saying? But in conclusion, and I'm gonna wrap this up because we've been on here for like an hour. D1 is right. Salute to him. And D1, if you see this, if a clip of this, happens to make it to you, I would love to have you on the show to speak more about what you promote and what you about. Love the movement, love the music. I do not think you're a clout chaser, and even if you were, this is the message that should be put out for clout. If anything needs some clout, it's positivity in hip hop, because it's not that much. It's not that much of it, and even if somebody does make a positive song, people ain't trying to hear it. So if this is a way to get that message out, then look, I'm all for it. And I would love to have you on the show, my brother. So hit me up. And everybody who watched the live, I appreciate you. I'm gonna try to do this a few times a week now and see how that goes. I'm gonna be live on Twitch and YouTube and maybe Facebook. If my internet holds up, streaming on 3 platforms at the same time. Please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, and yeah, man, I'll see you guys next time. This has been the Quote Goats Podcast. It's your boy Tommy Guns, and I'm out. Peace.